Every 4 years, the world's greatest football tournament resets to zero. No reputation protects you, no history saves you, no amount of money guarantees you anything. And somewhere inside that reset, inside that beautiful, brutal, completely unpredictable chaos, 5 teams who nobody believed in walk onto a pitch against teams who everybody believed in, and they win. This is the story of the 5 teams at FIFA World Cup 2026 who could do exactly that. The teams the experts ignored. The squads, the algorithms underrated. The nations that looked at the favourites list and quietly started preparing to tear it apart. Because in World Cup history, the underdog does not just appear occasionally, the underdog appears every single time. Chapter 52. The United States beat England, the nation that invented football. 2002. South Korea reached the semi-finals without anyone on earth predicting it. 2018. Croatia, a nation of 4 million people, reached the final. 2022. Morocco became the first African nation in history to reach the semi-finals of a World Cup. Every single one of these moments was called impossible before it happened. Every single one of them happened anyway. So, let us talk about 2026. Let us talk about the 5 teams that the world is underestimating right now. And let us talk about why. If you are paying close attention, none of what is coming should surprise you at all. Number 5. Japan. There is a conversation happening in world football right now about Japan. And most people outside of Asia are not paying close enough attention to it. Japan's 2022 World Cup performance was not a miracle. It was a preview. They beat Germany. They beat Spain. 2 of the most decorated football nations on earth, both former World Cup winners, both eliminated in part because of Japan. And the way Japan beat them was not lucky. It was tactical. It was disciplined. It was built on a defensive structure that absorbed pressure and then transitioned with a speed that neither Germany nor Spain had encountered before. But here is what makes Japan genuinely dangerous in 2026 in a way they were not in 2022. The generation that won those matches was young. The core of that squad, Ritsu Doan, Kaoru Mitoma, Takahiro Tomiyasu, Junya Ito Kutz, will be at the absolute peak of their physical powers in 2026. These are not players with a few years of European football experience. These are established Premier League, Bundesliga, and La Liga starters who face elite opponents every single week. Mitoma at Brighton became one of the most frightening wingers in English football. Tomiyasu became a trusted starter at Arsenal, one of the most demanding clubs in the Premier League. Japan are no longer a novelty at the World Cup. They are a genuine threat. And the team that draws Japan in the knockout stages in 2026 should be very, very concerned. Number 4. Senegal. If you built a World Cup squad in a laboratory designed specifically to cause chaos, it would look a lot like Senegal in 2026. The physical profile of this squad is unlike almost any other team in the tournament. They are fast, they are powerful, they are athletic in a way that disrupts the rhythm of technically superior opponents. And at the center of everything, Sadio Mane, yes. Mane, at 34 years old in 2026, will be playing his final World Cup, and every serious football observer knows what that means. There is nothing more dangerous than a generational talent playing in his last chance to achieve the one thing he never won. But Senegal is not just Mane anymore, and that is precisely what makes them dangerous. Ismaila Sarr, Nicholas Jackson, Pape Matar Sarr, who has developed at Tottenham into one of the most technically complete midfielders in the Premier League. This squad has depth, quality, and the specific kind of collective hunger that comes from a continent that has been told for decades that it cannot compete with Europe. Morocco showed in 2022 what an organised, defensively disciplined, collectively motivated African team can achieve. Senegal watched, they learned, and they are building something that could go even further. The African continent has never produced a World Cup winner. 2026 is the most likely moment that changes. Number 3, Uruguay. You need to understand something about Uruguay. Before we talk about football, this is a country of 3.5 million people. 3.5 million. That is smaller than the city of Los Angeles. And yet, Uruguay have won 2 World Cups, produced some of the greatest players in the history of the sport, and consistently qualified for and competed at the highest level of international football for over a century. Uruguay does not produce footballers. They manufacture them from the ground up through a culture so saturated in the sport, so demanding of technical excellence, so ruthless in its standards, that the players who survive it and reach the international stage are already hardened beyond what their physical size suggests. In 2026, Uruguay arrive with a squad that combines experience with the frightening young talent of Darwin Núñez, who at Liverpool has shown the ability to be completely unplayable on his best days, and Federico Valverde, who many respected analysts. Now consider one of the 5 best midfielders in the world. Valverde at Real Madrid is not a squad player. He is a starter. He is a difference maker. He is the kind of midfielder who controls a match from box to box with an energy and intelligence that most players cannot sustain for 90 minutes, but that Valverde makes look effortless. Uruguay in the knockout stages of a World Cup is a completely different proposition to Uruguay. in the group stage. They know how to suffer. They know how to defend leads. They know how to win matches that are not beautiful. And in a tournament where the margin between going home and going through is paper thin, that knowledge is worth more than any tactical system. Number 2, Morocco. We cannot have this conversation without talking about what Morocco did in 2022 and, more importantly, what it means for 2026. In Qatar, Morocco reached the semi-finals. They beat Spain on penalties. They beat Portugal. They held France, the eventual runners-up, closer than anyone expected before losing to a goal that could have gone either way on a different day. That squad was organised around a defensive structure coached by Walid Regragui that was so disciplined, so well-drilled, so collectively committed that individual moments of brilliance from opposition players were systematically neutralized before they could develop. The tactical sophistication of that Morocco team shocked the elite football world because the expectation, the deeply unfair, historically loaded expectation, was that an African team could compete physically but not tactically. Morocco dismantled that assumption completely. But what happens when that same tactical sophistication is combined with 2 years of additional European top-flight experience for the core players? Achraf Hakimi at PSG is arguably the most complete fullback in world football. Hakim Ziyech, despite his club situation, remains a player of genuine international class. And the generation behind the 2022 squad, the Moroccan players in the academies of French, Spanish and Belgian clubs who watched their national team reach the semi-finals and decided that was not the ceiling but the starting point. They are arriving now. Morocco do not just want to repeat 2022, they want to finish what 2022 started, and they have the squad, the coach, the motivation and the tactical intelligence to do it. Number 1, the United States. This one is different because the United States is not a traditional underdog. They have resources, they have infrastructure, they have the financial power of the world's largest sports economy behind them. But in global football terms, in the specific unforgiving world of FIFA World Cup competition, the United States remain profoundly underestimated. And in 2026, they are hosting the tournament. Do you understand what that means? The United States will play the majority of their matches, potentially including the final, in front of their own supporters, in their own stadiums. In a country where the MLS generation has created a football fan base that is younger, louder, and more emotionally invested than at any previous point in American sporting history, and the squad. Christian Pulisic has matured into one of the most dangerous attacking players in Serie A at AC Milan. Weston McKennie has fought for and earned his place at Juventus. Yunus Musa has developed into a dependable starter in one of the most demanding leagues on earth. Tyler Adams, when healthy, is the kind of defensive midfielder that every elite team in the world needs at its base. But the most important name on this list is the one that has been quietly developing and is about to arrive at his absolute peak. Folarin Balogun, who qualifies for the United States, who has Premier League and League One experience, who at his best is a striker capable of scoring at the highest level against the highest quality opposition. The United States have a real squad, a genuine tactical identity, a home crowd that will shake every stadium they play in, and the specific chip on the shoulder that comes from decades of being dismissed by a football world that never took American football seriously. 2026 is on American soil, and every team that travels there thinking the United States are the easy draw in the bracket is making the same mistake people have been making about this team for 20 years. They are not easy. They have never been easy. To Football Fans R7, because this is just the beginning.